had this kid. What the fuck's going on? The world is not, I mean, you're never prepared for a child, I would think, but when nothing goes the way that it's meant to, I think you just kind of just go, I've just got to survive. I've just got to survive. I've just got to get through it.
Welcome back to Three Doting Dads. I am Matty J.
I'm Ash.
And I'm Jackson Wray.
And this is a podcast all about parenting. It is the good, it is the bad.
And the relatable.
And of course, we have to say no advice will be given by Ash and myself. Jackson, however,
Loophole.
you are allowed to give advice.
Thank you. I'm glad I got your blessing.
We usually start this episode to figure out a little bit about the man. And do you recall the most trouble you got in as a child?
Believe it or not, I was probably quite a pretty good boy for the majority of my time, but
I don't believe it.
Oh, I would. Single mum, good boy. But one time I was on a football tour in New Zealand and I was underage as well. And
Can I just ask quickly,
Yes.
we AFL league or union?
the union boy.
Hey, union boys, they're lovely.
Rugby union.
It is now, but 20-something odd years ago, before Johnny Wilkinson kicked those field goals, it was a bit more fun. But yeah, I was in New Zealand and obviously on a football tour and bought some booze underage, and a couple of the young fellas took off from the cops.
Oh, sugar.
Yes. So I don't know whether I'm meant to be saying this and whether someone's
Doesn't
going to
matter.
come knocking on the door. I will ask your solicitors, but yeah, it was certainly an experience and a time.
Did you have a fake ID or how did you buy?
No, I did not have a fake ID.
Yep. Yeah, you just look very old.
I just
for your
looked
age.
old, big
Yes.
beard, that type of thing. I kind of look like I do now.
Yeah, because
at
what's your
17.
background?
Oh, my mother's side's from Cyprus and my father's side's Australian English.
So you've got like,
A little bit older.
I don't want to.
Say it.
Say it. What are you going to say?
Yeah, wow.
You look great for your age, is what I'm trying to say.
Wow.
How old do I look?
20?
It's charmer. Thank you.
See?
Don't believe anything he
What
says.
is the legal age in New Zealand?
I think it's 12.
I thought so.
think-
Probably
Yeah.
close to.
Yeah, they were like, you don't need ID.
What are you running for?
My memory says I didn't even ask for ID from memory.
No, you
my
wouldn't have,
memory,
no.
my recollection is I didn't even get asked.
I think
Not that
that's-
I had one, but I definitely didn't get asked.
And then did you get in trouble? Did you run or you stayed?
No, I didn't get it to the run. I bought alcohol for others,
Right.
and then I went somewhere else, and they got caught drinking in the park, and they did the run-up from the cops.
park.
The old park party, hey?
Also, when you're young, it's one of those things that like, if you just stay put and pretend like you're not doing anything naughty, the cops will just walk past or drive by.
Most of the time, or they'll just be like, keep pour it out.
But when you run, the cops are like, well, now we've got to chase
Yeah,
you.
he's like, fuck you.
Yeah, you got to bolt.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I guess fight or flight, right? So those boys, took off, and I got into a lot of trouble.
Okay, from mum, dad, who?
School.
School.
Luckily, not the police,
That's
because they kind of, you're on a football tour, and obviously someone
They're not real cops over
did
there
something.
anyway.
You say what you need to say. I'm not going to involve that conversation.
I'm waiting for that to come back.
You'll be in a bit of strife after that one. But so school got me in a bit of strife. Mum got me in a bit of strife. But yeah, I think I don't know what happened legally from anything in the background. We were kids at that point. So that was probably the one and only time that I ever really flirted with the law. Let's call it that.
Wow. Good for you.
Single mum as well. Jackson, what were you doing?
No, bad son. Sorry, Mum. Sorry, Mum.
At
My
least-
mum was there too to probably protect me afterwards. So I think I was all right.
How did she punish you?
I got a very stern talking to.
That's pretty good. I got
probably
hit with a spoon.
I had a stepfather who did those types of things, but my mother was very stern to me, but not in a very loving way, rather than a.
Was she like
Oh, what
scary
mother?
stern, do you think?
No, I just didn't want to disappoint. I think is
Fair,
probably
okay.
what it was. It was more disappointing her, given everything she'd done for me and given to me. So it was more about disappointing her rather than a fear of, I guess, violence, maybe like
Yeah,
a spoon
okay.
or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit more of that rather than like you're going to get whacked for that. It was more like, fuck, I've really fucked up and my mum's disappointed, and that was probably where I was like, all right, I'm in a bit of strife here.
I always think, how can I get to the point where my kids respect me enough to not want to disappoint me?
I know, I said that and they just laugh at me. I'm like, I'm not angry. They're like, well, you better. It works better.
The disappointed piece.
It works better if you are, because we don't respect you.
The disappointed piece is obviously a lot scarier than the smack. I
Right?
would think. Yeah, I think so. And I think my mum probably gave me freedom and said, like, I trust you, and if you fuck the trust, then that's when you're in trouble, rather than going, you can't do this, or you must do this, or like a control perspective. And I think that was instilled. It was like, all right, well, I've got the rope, and I've chopped myself with the rope to an extent, and that was when I knew I was like, yeah, I'm in strife. But I think it's that give the kid the leeway. I'm giving advice already. And with 3
Yeah, and
minutes
I'm
in.
like, tell me more.
We're laughing it up.
But it was like, yeah, I think it's my mum was always like, I trust you, tell me what you're doing. I'd rather know what's going on and I'd rather know everything. And I won't be as angry as if I find out from someone else. Well, that's when the trust is broken. I think trust is probably the thing that I had with my mum growing up.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm like locking this in mentally because it sounds so counterintuitive to be like, I'll give you the freedom.
No, my kids would fucking exploit that.
I think obviously that was as you grow older, right? Like as
Maybe,
you kind of
yeah.
get into that teenage years. As a little kid, it was probably a little bit different. But
Yeah.
my recollection's more of my mum as I got into my teenage years and making sure that I didn't disappoint her.
Do you remember at what point you realised, I really want to be a dad and have a family?
That's a good question. I think I always knew I wanted to be a dad. I just wasn't sure when I was ever going to be ready to be a dad. Growing up, I was always the one, my friends were like, you'd be the best dad. Like that was kind of what I was pumping my
Go
horn
for it.
a little bit.
Pump away.
As you're buying alcohol for underage kids.
Yeah, no, perfect. See?
Do you want some beer with that?
Give them a compliment of doing it.
Yeah, rub my ego and off we go. But yeah, I think as a kid growing up, that was like the next step in life and that was a phase in life that you wanted to get to. But I don't think there was ever a moment where I went, all right, it's time. I think it was more, it just kind of, I always knew that was a path that I'd like to have gone down. And then, yeah, obviously it came along like about 4.5 odd years ago with the birth of Frankie.
Can we just quick step back, if you don't mind me asking, Alex, your partner?
Yeah.
Where did you guys meet?
We worked at Red Bull about 12, 13 years ago,
Wow,
probably
okay.
something along
So,
those
yeah,
lines.
right, okay.
We formed a really fast, quick friendship. Like we were both in relationships outside of each other's beforehand, and then we were best of friends for a long time before anything kind of transpired, which I think, given our story, is probably really fitting. The friendship is probably the foundation for what we have today, given the trials that we've been kind of put under with our life, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a little while.
Do you remember who raised at first the prospect of having kids?
I can't recall. I think we probably both knew it was a path to go down. I think Alex wanted them a little bit sooner than I did because body clock, women, that type of thing. And I was kind of in a position where I'd come out of a job, moved to the US for a little while, came back, started a new career. And so I wasn't in a position financially to go, all right, let's have kids and let's go. I think it was more once I found myself in a little bit of a more stable position, that's when I was like, all right, now it's time. Now I can do it. And now I know that when I'm bringing someone in this world, I can give back as much as they take from me.
Yeah.
Do you remember how she told you she was pregnant?
No. Yes, I do. But we tried for a little while to fall pregnant and it didn't happen. And we ended up with cats because she was filling a void, and then we got rid of the cats and that kind of that.
I don't want to know how you got rid of the cats. I don't want to know how you got rid of
No. I think they're still alive there. Where there's a very lovely woman took the 2 cats that we had while we were living during COVID. But yeah, so we tried for a baby, didn't have it. And then Alex went and had a endometriosis, like a laparoscopy operation. And then she fell pregnant with a chemical pregnancy that first month after, which was like exciting for a minute. And then obviously that you ride that wave up and down, and then that happened. And then the following month we tried again and she fell pregnant, which was pretty exciting.
How did you feel ready then?
Yeah, I certainly felt ready. I think we knew because we'd had a few attempts that didn't happen. Like obviously month to month you try and try, nothing happens. And then we had that month where it happened, but didn't happen after the operation. And then when she fell pregnant, I think we were certainly ready for the baby at that point.
And during the journey of Alex being pregnant, all your scans and tests, everything was showing up that things were good, or was there a point?
No, so good question. We did everything we possibly could. Like they give you the test, they ask you if you want to do genetic screening and all those types of things. And we thought everything went really, really well until Alex's waters broke at 30 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That's real early, yeah.
Yeah, so waters broke at 30 weeks, which was pretty scary, obviously, because there's 10 weeks to go. We just finished our birthing class. Alex was like, perfect, I'm ready to have a baby. And literally that night, her waters broke, which was not obviously planned. And then the doctors wanted to keep the baby, or I keep saying the baby, but they wanted to keep Frankie in. So basically Alex was kept in hospital for 5 days where they injected her with steroids for the child to kind of get the lungs to go, because the lungs aren't developed at 30 weeks and a few other bits and pieces.
So were they giving you a time frame of like, we want to try and keep you in here
As
for
long as possible.
Right.
Really?
But it was really it's a very surreal experience. And I think before I came to see you guys, I was talking to Alex and kind of looking back at like everything that's happened, and I'm trying to remember a lot of it, because you kind of start to compartmentalize it and go, fuck, I'll just deal with that later. I'll deal with that later. I'll deal with that later, which I think most people do. But
sometimes with Marley, I'll be talking to someone and with my wife Laura, and she'll say parts of the birth that I'm like, did that happen? And she's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
you
you remember
forget
when this?
so much,
And yeah,
eh?
you're
You
like,
don't remember. You just forget. So we spent 3 or 4 days from memory in hospital trying to get the baby in because her waters were broken, and apparently because as long as Alex was still producing a fluid, the baby could stay in. And then at I think day 5 or day 6, after the waters broke, they sent us home. And like, you're okay, everything's gonna be all right, just stay relaxed and whatever else. And then that night, Alex was like, oh, I don't feel very good. I think I'm just gonna go to sleep. And I was like, are you sure? I think you might be in labour. And she's like, no, I'm okay. So this is probably like 8 o'clock at night. I was like, no, we're gonna go to the hospital. So we get to the hospital and they're like, yeah, you're in labour. And we were meant to be delivered at Prince of Wales Hospital. And halfway through labour, they said, oh, your baby's too small. We're going to have to send you to RPA. So in the middle of labour, they put Alex and Frankie, who was obviously still in her stomach, into an ambulance and took off. And I had to drive myself to RPA at probably like 11 or 11:30 at night.
Was this in the middle of COVID too?
It was April, so kind of COVID had finished, but it was like at the end of that, like everyone was still wearing masks, there was still social distancing. It wasn't full lockdown, but when we got to the hospital, we had to do swab tests, all that type of stuff.
and how are you feeling driving separately to
I
the
was
hospital?
fucking lost as. I was really like, what the fuck is going on? Like, kind of surreal. And I had some little fuckers egged my car on the way to the hospital too.
What?
Yeah, these little pricks.
Oh
egged
my
car.
God.
So, anyways, that's neither here nor there. But it was just kind of
Like,
drive.
not now!
Yeah, today of all fucking days, really. So we drive. So we get to RPA. Everything's kind of okay. Ours dilating and things seem to be going, I guess, to plan. Other than the fact that Frankie's going to be a premiere, and we kind of accepted that. And then so that night kind of rolls through till about 3 o'clock in the morning. And at that point, I was lying there getting ready. She's dilated. And the on-call OB hadn't arrived yet. But what happened was she ended up having a cord prolapse, from what we know, which means effectively that the umbilical cord comes out before Frankie's head. So the umbilical cord obviously is the oxygen supply, and the umbilical cord pushes the head pushed on the oxygen supply, and so we had to have like an emergency cesarean, right? Which basically means, and I think I listened to your pod the other day where you had an emergency, if I'm not mistaken, from a breach. We didn't even get a minute, basically button on the wall.
Yeah.
Everyone in.
They come out of nowhere too.
Come out of fucking nowhere, but everyone
So who,
in.
like the nurse presses the...
So there's so the OB wasn't there because our OB couldn't deliver because our OB wasn't registered at RPA. The on-call OB wasn't there at the time either because they hadn't got there yet. And so there was a registrar on call, or the registrar who was there, the registrar doctor, was feeling around, and then the nurse checked as well, and they call it the nurse's nightmare. So effectively what happened was the nurse said, press the button. They pressed the green button on the wall or the red button or whatever colour it is. Everyone rushed in. The nurse pretty much pushed her hand up Alex's vagina, pushed the baby's head back up to get the pressure off the umbilical cord. And then, everyone's in. The nurse keeps saying, Alex, look at me. I'm standing like a fucking ghost. I'm going, what the fuck is going on? Someone tell me what's going on. And then she gets rushed out on all fours. Nurse obviously doing what she's doing. And I'm standing in this white room. No one's around and it's just dead silence. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, where the fuck? Like,
They're like a pit crew, eh? They come out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden, like that, you're up, you're out.
And they're all gone. And I think from what I know,
Obviously, in that moment, Alex is a priority.
Yeah.
But does anyone tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, just so you know, this is...
No, I think because we had that birthing class that morning and they were talking about forceps deliveries and vacuums and all these types of things, and I was like, oh, yeah, they're using forceps? And the lady's like, no, honey. And then they just took off. And I was standing in this room by myself and I'm going, like nobody's around. Like I'm literally in a room, probably the same size as this, white walls, just standing there going, what the fuck? Haven't slept, as we all know, like you're delirious. And then, some lady probably about 7 or 8 minutes later comes back and goes, congratulations, you've had a little kid.
Wow.
So, fuck. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Trying not to cry.
No, you're
Nah, dude. I'm a fucking crier. So, like, if there's a place that you can cry,
It's here.
it's here, dude.
And
also, if you want any time at all,
No, it's good. It's kind of nice. I shouldn't say it's nice because it's certainly not nice, but it's good to voice it and obviously get it out there, right? Because you don't compartmentalize it. So, like I said, from the time they pressed the button to delivery was, from what I understand, like 8-10 minutes, something like that. they put Alex straight under, like straight to sleep, cut her open, pulled the baby out. And then it was probably about an hour and a half until I could see Frankie. And the first time I ever saw her, she was in a little like incubator.
You can take a second if you want, Jackson.
No, that's good. It's good. She was in a little incubator. She wouldn't have been much bigger than this. And she had probably half a dozen to a dozen wires hanging off her, and she had a CPAP machine. So she was obviously being a help her breathing to be helped, and that was pretty difficult. And then Alex, the first time Alex got to meet Frankie was on FaceTime. So I think as a family, we're quite robbed of that particular experience of like what you asked him before about being a father and how, like, when did you know and all those types of things. And obviously that's probably such a crescendo point in being a dad, is being there, cutting the cord, sharing that moment with your wife and your child.
It's what you imagine it to be like in movies.
100%. You see what you see in movies. And listen, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people that don't get that, but they get some level of that. We got none of that. Yeah, so that's Frankie's birth kind of story. And from that point, we spent probably eight or 9 weeks in NICU in terms of, and we started at RPA and then were transferred to Prince of Wales and then Prince of Wales Private. And that was a pretty tough 8 weeks because you have the child and then the baby doesn't get to come home with you. Like even your wife's kind of in a room, and where the way that NICU worked at RPA, and I hope that none of you ever really have to truly spend some time there, but the wards are upstairs and the babies are downstairs, so you're not really with your child.
Yeah.
Either you get to go and visit them and whatever else, but you're not with the baby. They're being taken care of amazingly by the nurses and the like, but you're not there. It's not yours, and you're not sleeping next to it.
Do you think maybe there's not, but do you think there's any, just mentally knowing that you're not even on the same floor, that's the separation is even heightened more so?
I think looking back at it, it probably is. At the time, you're just in survival mode. You're just going, fuck, I've had this kid. What the fuck's going on? The world is not, I mean, you're never prepared for a child, I would think. But when nothing goes the way that it's meant to, I think you just kind of just go, I've just got to survive. I've just got to survive. I've just got to get through this.
It's such a unique place and time to be in, right? Because even for like myself with Oscar was an emergency, but same thing. I didn't have all the information, and you're in that headspace and you're delirious, like you were saying before. Then all of a sudden you're separated, and the thing that really weighs on my mind there, where you say, well, they don't get to come home with you, which I know Vic has spoken about before. It must be just so heartbreaking.
I think it is, but at that point in time, we were probably just going, fuck, at least she survived.
Yeah, okay.
I think that was probably where our headspace was. It was like she was preemie. We didn't really know what her probability of survival of being such a small baby was in the first instance, but I think it was like, we've had a kid. It's not gone the way we wanted to, but nothing in life goes the way you truly want it to. And it was more like, all right, we've got her. She's not with us, but she's here. We'll get through this moment in time, and then we'll start our lives in inverted commas, right?
So at this point, knowing that she's preemie, she potentially has had some time with a lack of oxygen, has anyone given you any type of information on what impact that could have?
No, so not necessarily. I think they said that the whole of the APGARs and the oxygens and all those things seem to have been okay. And I think we'll touch on this in some time, but if she's under 30 weeks, they would have given her an MRI to check her brain, and she was just past that time, apparently, and whether that's, like I said, we've learnt as we've gone on, but the MRI itself probably would have shown a lack of white matter. But yeah, so at that point, we didn't know that there was anything wrong. We just thought she was a preemie. Everyone said that things were like hunky-dory. She just had to stay in NICU till she grew, keep her monitored, and then in 8-10 weeks, we'll get her home and start again.
How was mum recovering after it? I mean, because we talk about the baby and stuff like that, but also mum's gone through this too.
Yeah, so she's stoic. My wife, Sue, Alex is like superhuman, right?
Yeah.
So she was just pumped that she had a kid. Obviously, she'd had a cesarean, which we know is not the greatest of things, and the recovery time is
a long time. Yeah.
Is a long time. But yeah, she, like a lot of things, she takes it in a stride and gets on with it, because we've kind of, as time's gone on, we've had to. But yeah, she, at that point in time, she was happy that she had a kid. Didn't go the way we wanted to, but we had a little girl, Frankie, and yeah, she was in a pretty good headspace, all things considered.
And then at what point in the weeks following, did a test notify you guys that something wasn't what it had to be?
So we took Frankie home probably 8 weeks after her birth, so like in April. And then I'm a stubborn wog, and I have a kind of tradition around, well, I wanted to create a tradition around, my grandfather came from a small village in Cyprus, and he was christened in a church in his village, in a vat. I was christened in the same church, and he was still alive at that time, and I wanted to take Frankie to Cyprus to do that whilst the whole family was still together, because, like I said, I'm stubborn and my way or the highway sometimes, and I forced everybody there. But so we took the trip, and she was probably 2.5 or 3 months old at that point, which I think, in hindsight, probably wasn't the right thing to do, but we didn't know any better.
Can I just say
Yeah, of
that
course.
I took Marley on a trip overseas when she was 3 months.
Did you? Where'd you go?
I went to Europe as well.
Oh, right.
Go on, say it.
Must be nice.
Thank you.
Very nice. So we did this little holiday, but Frankie was so temperamental and difficult and wouldn't sleep and wouldn't be on the boob. And while we're over there, so it wasn't really a holiday. Obviously, the intention was that it was going to be a holiday, but as things went on, she kind of got worse and was crying and just restless, would not sleep, wouldn't boob, wouldn't feed. Took her to the hospital in Cyprus, took her to the doctor. Everyone's saying it's colic, it's this, it's that, whatever else. We weren't seeing any seizure activity, or at least we didn't know what a seizure looked like at that point in time. So we did that trip, came home, we were like, fuck, she's just a difficult kid. Everyone's kind of going, she'll grow out of it, she'll grow out of it. We took her to the ER a couple of times. And then Alex noticed, and again, everyone was saying colic, purple crying, all these other kind of things. And then Alex noticed her starting to do like these kind of like small little twitches or like tweaks. And then our film that, like I said, our GP kind of said, hey, like it's nothing to worry about. The doctors at the hospital said nothing to worry about. And then Alex filmed it. And then we went back to ER and said, hey, this is what she's doing, because it wasn't constant. It was kind of like in and out.
And it's so important to get it on camera.
You have to get it on camera, because like I said, we were knocked back. And she probably was doing that a little bit, the seizures a little bit before, when we the last couple of times we went to ER, but we didn't have it on film, and she wasn't doing it when we were there. And they're like, dismissive, you're just overly cautious parents, whatever it may be.
You can't get them to do it on demand as well.
Yeah,
like.
but it's
Have
also,
the seizure.
it's also when they're that young, they're not in control of their body.
100%.
And so it's such a fine line between it's just them moving about to having like what you now know
so
is a seizure.
she was pretty much jackknifing. So effectively what she was doing was she'd be like a normal baby playing around, and then she'd lock her arms in, turn her head, and then kick her legs up. And so it was just like a full-blown like tick. And so when we took her back to ER and we showed in the video, and like, you know, when people say, oh, fuck, I hate sitting around in the ER. If you're sitting around waiting in ER, it means you've got nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
We showed in this video and they were like, you asked, let's go.
Yeah.
So that was at about 4 months old. And then we probably didn't leave the hospital for a good 2 or 3 months again after that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What diagnosis were you given?
So what happened effectively was they took us up to the neurology ward. They scanned her body with a blue light. I'm not sure why they did that. And then they booked us in that night or that day for a MRI. And what happens then, obviously, is they put the baby to sleep. They scan her brain. They kind of wake up, and then you wait for the results. So we're kind of sitting around in this neurology ward. Doctors kind of in and out. And then they said, "Oh, can you just come with us?" And so we got taken into like fucking white room. It seems to be the place to go when something fucks up in the hospital. But we get taken to this white room, and here we go. I'll cry again.
It's okay.
And it's me and Alex, the neurologist, and the neurologist is offside her, and then a social worker. And they sit down and they say, like, listen, like, sorry.
You're all right.
So hard to relive, dude.
They said, oh, she's got a lack of white matter on the brain. And we're like, oh, what the fuck does that mean? And they said, like, we don't know what's caused it, so we can't tell you that it's cerebral palsy, but it is the equivalent of what cerebral palsy is, which is effectively a white matter loss, whether that's from injury or something else on the brain, and they weren't sure whether it was injury or a genetic cause. And I just remember just the whole world just span. And yeah, that was a pretty fucking tough day. Alex and I gathered our thoughts, and I remember that we were we were sitting there, and it was the first night, and probably similar. There was still a little bit of that kind of COVIDness around, but they wouldn't let Alex and I stay at the hospital together that night. And they said, "Listen, you two go home. Go home." Alex, we went to the hospital not thinking we had to pack a bag, so I was like, "Let's go home." And I remember we get home after the fucking world has just collapsed, and we both get in the shower together, and we just sit in the shower. We both sit on the floor in the shower for an hour, just in tears. And I remember, and she said to me this. She said, "I remember you saying to me, like, what's going to be is going to be, and we will get through this." And fuck, I think we're still together. We're still here, so we're clearly getting through this. But yeah, that moment in time was probably the worst experience I think I've ever had. And I called my mum that day, and fuck.
I just want to tell you, it's so brave of you to be able to be this open and retell your story, Jackson.
I think it's more about making sure that others that go through something like this know that it's going to be okay in some way. But I remember calling my mum and just going, "I don't want her to leave." You know, I was like, if she's going to be what the doctors are saying she's going to be, the world's not fair enough to a person like that, and I don't want her to have to experience a life like that. So that was a fucking very tough time in our life, and that was before we found out that she'd lost her sight too. So it's another part of the story. But yeah, it was not a very easy time for us, and I think the time that, like I said before, that Alex and I were friends before getting together probably really made us able to get through that moment a little bit better. I would think a little bit more healthy, because that friendship was the foundation for what we had. And being in a situation like that where your fucking world's upside down and you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, you need that person behind you or next to you, holding your hand, supporting you, and you need to support each other. And that time in my life was certainly the hardest, and probably, I hope, is the hardest moment that I ever have to have. And I would never wish that on my worst enemy.
When you're going through those tough times, is there anything that helped you? You know, if you're going down, you're spiraling about your circumstance. And I think the hardest thing can be when the reality of life doesn't match up to what your expectations were. And when you think about that and you're struggling, what would help you?
I always say this, like, the sun's going to come up tomorrow, right? Like, and you know that there are really beautiful moments in life that are really beautiful, and they will happen again. I think everybody has tough moments and everybody has peaks and troughs. And I think, it's just simply that the sun's going to come up. And if it doesn't, we're all in trouble anyway. And I say that quite a bit. I think it's that thing of tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow might be shitter than the day before, but at some point something's going to turn. And you've got this little girl that's super reliant on you now. Like, she doesn't come with a warranty. You can't give her back. Not that you would, but you're reliant on her. I think, if she didn't make it, then things would be different. But certainly, having her there, knowing that the only thing that she has is Alex and I, probably gave us the strength to just keep going, because you don't have an alternative. There's no alternative solution. What is your alternative?
It must be such a profound feeling to think, okay, well, like you said it, like, Frankie has us and is going to rely on us so much, and it's it gives you another purpose, right?
100%. It just given me complete purpose now in life.
And I just want to go back to that time you went home, you sat in the shower, you're trying to process that. Can you tell us a little bit what happens next? I mean, for Matt and I, who have never been through anything like this, let alone being able to talk to someone in such depth, and we do appreciate it.
Thank you for having us there.
But, like, I'm interested to know what happens next.
Sure. So, I took Alex back to the hospital, and then it just becomes doctors, tests, meetings, information dump. And for us, there wasn't, like I said before, there wasn't a finite, like, all right, there's an injury on the brain. This is what it is. It was like, it could be an injury or it could be genetic. So then you spiral again, because you're like, all right, well, if it could be this or it could be that. And I think for us, it was more not having an answer made it a little bit harder, but you just try to information dump as quick as you can and pull as much info out on everything that's kind of been given. And you just have to learn to adapt to what's being put in front of you. Like, I think that's what it comes down to is you just go, all right, well, the doctors start telling you this information. So then you quick Dr. Google, or I don't think, AI was around, but no one was really using it like they are today. But yeah, so it was all about like, doctor will say this quick deep dive till the next meeting. What's that about? And then like you're learning all these words and hearing all these things that you wish you never had to hear about. Right?
Yeah, you must find yourself in a lot of information spirals.
You're doom scrolling info.
Oh, I couldn't. Yeah.
But you're not doom scrolling images. You're doom scrolling info and just trying to absorb as much info as you possibly can about whatever that doctor or that person had just told you about prior before the next person comes in. So like I said, there was a lot of tests. That poor little thing was a pincushion, blood test, urine test. You had to catch piss all the time just to make sure, like all those types of things.
I'm just trying to think of like what it must be like when, because sometimes, and this is not an attack on healthcare, like doctors, but when they explain
Be careful, you guys are in a bit of strife.
I know. But when
How would rural doctors tell you how to do it?
but they just blurt it out like you know
Like you
it all.
know, yeah.
And you're like every second word you're like, can you just say that? Like, how do you spell that? I don't even know what that word.
100% PVLs and acronyms and all these things, and you just go, like I said before.
Say it again. What does that mean? Writing it down.
PVL, I can't even say periventricular leukomalacia, which is effectively
Wow, that was
correct.
Give us that one more time.
Periventricular leukomalacia. So,
Wow.
like, there's all these acronyms and words that you just Dr. Google. Boom, boom, boom. What's that mean? What's that mean? What's that mean? And before the use of AI, or the AI wasn't kind of there at that point in time, that was what we were doing, was just Googling all these acronyms.
What information were they telling you about like long-term impact?
They didn't, and I think they do that selectively because they don't truly. I mean, the more you go on, and I think that we have a beautiful health system, so please don't think this is any indication of our belief. But I think it's more, they don't truly know when a baby's that size what the is going to be, because it's like a spectrum. It's a gamut, right? Like there are people out there that have no brain, with all due respect, that, and literally when I mean like a physical no brain, who have completely operational and functional, and there are people with full brains that are vegetables, right? So I don't think they're going to say to you, hey, your kid's going to be this, and this is the life expectancy, and this is what it is, because it's just not how medicine, I think, works.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's going to be different.
100%.
Yeah.
And so for us, it was, like I said, the doctors were saying, oh, it could be this or it could be that. Like, this is the spectrum of what the outcome is, the likelihood of the outcome is. And maybe they kind of play it down a little bit so that they don't just dump you with the reality of what your life's going to be, rather than going, yeah, your kid's fucked, politely, and this is your life and good luck and it's over. I think that they slowly drip feed you what you need to, so you can process at least a little bit.
Frankie's how old is she now?
She's turned 4 in April.
And so,
but she's obviously preemie.
At like the 3-year mark, are they giving you any expectation of what her ability will be?
It's funny, they don't say that, but when we go and catch up with the neurologists or the doctors or whoever, the specialists that we're catching up with, they'll say she's doing more than we thought. So that's quite reassuring or comforting. It means that obviously they had, like I said, they were holding information back, I think, but she's doing things that they didn't expect her to be doing. So that's...
I saw the video where she was speaking for the first time.
Yeah.
Was that something that you were expecting, or were you always hoping for?
I think you always hope for normalcy, right? You hope to have a child that's going to run up to you when you get home from the office or from work or wherever it may be. So you want that. And yeah, I think having an expectation of a child like Frankie will only make you feel really bad. Like, it'll bring you down. So we have no expectations on her. It's not a fair pressure to put on her. We try our best to give her every opportunity to excel and do the most normal thing she possibly can, and that's talk and feed herself. We bought her a walking machine, which is like a robotic gait walker, to try and get her body moving. Whether she'll ever walk unassisted, who knows? But I think medicine's going the right way, and with AI and technology, like the other day we saw a robot that's effectively a walker with a gyroscope that'll keep a child like Frankie stable so she can walk by herself. Yeah, so from your question about like her talking, we don't have an expectation on her. That's not fair to do that to her.
Yeah.
We want it. We yearn for it because that's what you want as a parent. You want to see your child do everything that they possibly can. But when she does things, we're fucking through the roof. We're so excited about the simplest things and the inch stones rather than the milestones or the millstones or whatever it may be. Like any tiny little improvement for us is fucking massive.
What are those improvements? What are they?
Like, just like, for example, she'll bring a water bottle to herself. She can feed a little bit. She can army crawl, saying mum and dad, and there's a few more words coming into her vocabulary. Like if she wants more food, she'll say more. Like those are the types of things that we're starting to see now. And it's taken a fucking lot of work, like a fucking lot of work. But the poor little thing, she doesn't like praise. So like when you like she does something and you like Alex and I jump up for joy, she just like she shuts down a little bit and like starts to cry. I don't know whether she thinks she's in trouble or she doesn't like being put on show, but we're so ecstatic. But we have to kind of
Bottle it up.
We have to control that emotion a little bit. And we're just like fist pumping in the corner, but like
it's like watching
each other
sport
at the table.
when the baby's sleeping. You like can just like wave your hand.
Yeah.
No noise. That's exactly what it's like. And so every moment where she does something that we're not expecting is a brilliant moment. And it's probably, I would assume, because again, we haven't lived it, when your child takes the first step, how excited you are, or your child says their first, now I can say, child says their first word. It's like a really fulfilling moment in time. And that's probably the part of parenthood that most people have kids for, is to bring someone up, take care of them, look after them, and make them try and excel in the world as best that they possibly can.
It's funny, those moments like out of nowhere hit you, right? Especially, I mean, for you guys that are just going through all that and then celebrating those wins, it must be amazing to hear her say mum and dad.
Yeah,
like,
mama, dada, yay.
Yeah.
Yay's a new one. Yay.
Yeah, that's so good.
What is M for? It's D for. And what is Y for?
Yeah, like I think you talk about what your expectations are, and you're trying not to have certain benchmarks in mind. But I remember when my girls, that first time, like I'm a pretty needy parent, and that
Give me what I need. I had you so you can give me what I want.
it's funny. I guess we have a lot of non-parents also listen to the podcast, and what is it like for yourself not having expectations on what milestones she will be able to hit, to then be surprised and hear the words "dada" come out of Frankie's mouth?
Well, it was mama first.
Which apparently is easier to say. So it's no reflection on
apparently
you.
so.
That's what I've heard as well.
Who's the favourite? Mama. So there was a little bit of jealousy and envy, let's call it, which is probably normal. So it's a normal experience. But
We're in the same boat.
when she said dad, it was a really heartfelt, warm and fulfilling moment. I think you definitely, as parents, like I said, you get these moments in time where you have a child or you think this is the way that your life's going to go. So to get like a normal moment was really beautiful. I remember looking at Alex and I teared up a little bit about that particular moment, and she was so smug about it too, because Alex was like, yes, she's saying it both. It filled me with a lot of warmth, and it's a moment that I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
It's funny when you say like it gives you just a bit of normality, which I think is so easy to underestimate what you yearn for.
Of course, we yearn for the normalcy. We don't have the normalcy, and like I said before, we're not here to compare to anybody else. But you have a child because, or you want to be a parent because you want those normal things and you want that normal trajectory and pathway. And so we really get these little glimpses of what the traditional, let's call it, parenting experience is like, and they fill us with so much joy. And I think because we don't get it as much, we probably don't take it for granted as much, I would think.
Yeah.
And so when it happens, it's a real, the cameras come out, Frankie shuts down, and we try it again, and then we film it, then we send it to the family and go, look what she's done. But yeah, those moments are you cherish, and I think we will cherish a lot more because we're not sure when the next one's coming.
Yeah. How do you find other adults react to you guys when you're in public, when you're with Frankie?
That's a really good question, and you certainly get a mix of reactions. I like to think that I'm quite oblivious to others, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. But I know that Alex really notices the world around her from that perspective. And we've had really brilliant experiences where either ourselves or Frankie's got a couple of carers who do a couple of hours a day, and they're the most brilliant girls. We'll take her to the park, and a grandmother and a little kid will come up and play with Frankie or hold her hand or be really inquisitive. And that's the really beautiful side of it. But then you see others that just fucking stare.
Yeah.
Right? And they're just looking, and they don't like. And staring's okay because obviously, yes, sure, she's a little bit different and she's got little things on her legs to kind of keep her ankles straight and the like. But stare, look at the parents, smile, acknowledge, and then stare back. Like, that's okay. But just to fucking stare at a kid, like, that's creepy.
Yeah.
You know, sure, yes, she's different, and that's okay. But everybody's a little bit different. But yeah, Alex particularly, it's a trigger point when people just like.
Yeah, I think as an adult, we both have toddlers and kids, and they don't know any better, and they're gonna stare, and sometimes they'll be very inquisitive. My kids will.
Kids are okay. There's no.
And they want to know
kids.
as well, because it's probably the first time they've seen something like that. But
100%.
as a fully grown adult staring at a child for any reason whatsoever, it's just fucking weird, and fucking stop doing it.
Super weird. 100%. And I couldn't agree more. I think back to your point about having toddlers that are inquisitive. Mate, fucking come up and say hello. Just say,
totally.
hey, let's go say hi. Like, normalize that rather than making the kid go, oh, that's a fucking weird. Because then the kid's going to go, oh, I don't want to go near that, or that's a bit odd, or what the like.
Yeah.
So Alex is trying with everything that she's doing now. Is just trying to kind of like normalize it a little bit more. And we're never going to be the first and we won't be the last. But I think getting people to appreciate Frankie's who Frankie is, but she's just a normal girl that wants to live the same experiences that everybody else does, is probably the message that's come out of what Alex has started to try and do. Originally, she was doing it as a third person look in on our experience so far. So our kind of used to put little videos together of like our holidays. So she quite likes that creative side. Like, that's kind of what she does. And when Frankie and all the stuff happened with Frank's, she pulled back a lot. And then to kind of process and start the grief process, she built herself a little video of looking back at us from a third party.
Yeah, well, that's how I found you guys online.
Wow.
Yeah, so she did that to kind of help her grief process. And then in saying that, she started getting messages from other mothers or other dads that were saying, hey, like, you've put into words what we don't know how to do.
Yeah.
And then so it's gone from her using that as a grief piece to going, all right, well, actually, is there a way that we can kind of normalize for us what we're going through, and also show others that are behind us in the same journey that things can be okay. So yeah, so like I said, from that point of like people and adults staring, what we're trying to do is just normalize who Frankie is, and other kids that are like Frankie that are, like I said, just want to live a fucking normal life like we all do, and that have just drawn a short straw in life.
Because I can imagine like you were saying, you're very open about, you're learning this as well as you go. I can imagine it can be really isolating in moments, and there would be people and couples and families that would be out there feeling isolated, but you're giving them a bit of a voice here where it's like,
100%. And there's certainly moments of isolation. We're pretty fortunate about the support crew that we have around us as just an individual family, not talking about it holistically. But yeah, there are certainly moments of complete isolation, right? Like, and even to our friendship group, like, they've got their lives are so much more normal than ours. And so relatability becomes like a part of the isolation. Like, their kids are going to school, their kids have got first year school photos, or they're going to sport, and we're like, all right, sweet, we're going back to physio, or we're going, like, our life with Frank's is very different to everybody else. And there is certainly moments, I mean, outside of sitting in a fucking hospital room for 3 or 4 months, but even when you're back in the real world, there are certainly moments of isolation where you're just like, I have nothing in common with my friends from a parenting perspective. My friends are beautiful. Our friends are fucking amazing. But when it comes to the parenting side of things, like, we have nobody to sense check with. It's not like, hey, did your kid walk today? Did your kid pick their nose?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like we don't have that benchmark or that ability to go, my kid's 12 and he did it. Like, we don't have that.
So then how do you digest that and not let it, eat you up inside?
I think you've got two choices. You either let it consume you, or you just say, fuck it, we're on a different path and let's just ride it and enjoy life. Because I hate to say it, we're all going to end up in the same place anyway, right? We're all going to end up in a fucking box at some point.
Yeah.
So let's just make the most of what we've got, because if we
sure.
don't, like you're just going to chew yourself up and you're going to isolate.
Yeah.
And the world's a beautiful place. Like there is so much beauty in the world that sure there are moments where people fucking stare, but like that happens to everybody. But yeah, like I said, I think it's more that comparing ourselves. I mean, comparison in anything is the root of evil, right? Like if you compare your life to somebody else's, and they're chapter 50 to your chapter 1,
Nothing's going to steal joy faster.
100%. So if
yeah.
we do that, mate, it's a spiral. And I don't allow myself to do that. And Alex is pretty much the same. Like we don't. Just like I said, you have moments where you're like, fuck, why us? This sucks. What the fuck's going on?
And that'll reflect onto Frankie too. Frankie will be, as she grows up, she'll see that as well.
I
And
hope so.
and that's the sort of thing that she'll instill in her beliefs as well.
I hope
in
so.
Like, you know, like there's so many beautiful parts about life.
100%. We try to give her the best life that we possibly can. And I think for us it's tough, and we have to work really fucking hard. And even
Can I just say, when you say working hard, like I complain a lot about parenting, right? And
We have a whole podcast about it.
You're 300 episodes in.
And I know you didn't come on here to tell your story and try and
Sure.
get sympathy from anyone.
This ain't a sympathy.
But I sitting here, I am like, holy fuck! It is amazing
Thank you.
what you guys. Your situation is a lot harder than my own, and how you guys can get through that. I'm like, I got to fucking applaud you, because I think it's incredible.
Well, it's mostly my wife. I'm just a support character, to be honest. She's the one that kind
Support
of
plays a big key.
Mate, she's Batman, I'm Robin, right? So, but yeah, like I said before, like we just do what we can to ensure that we have the best life for Frankie that we can. And to your point of saying like you complain, but that's okay. That's your life. Like we're living our life. There's probably things in my life that are really great too that you don't have. Like I don't know, but my premise is like, mate, you're only walking your own fucking race. Like I'm not walking in your shoes. You're not walking in mine. Comparison is the root of the stealer of joy, right? It's the same premise. Like don't feel sorry for us. We're doing the fucking best that we can in our situation. And we probably have some harder times than most, but for the majority, we're a very happy-go-lucky family, and we do everything that we possibly can to ensure that Frankie gets anything and everything she possibly can, as normalized as she possibly can.
To someone who doesn't know Frankie, how would you describe her?
I describe her as a 4-year-old little redhead, and I don't know where the red hair comes from, who knows nothing but pure happiness. And I know that that smile of hers and that squeal is something that really, truly will melt the coldest of hearts. And as parents, we try to instill that happiness in her, and we manage to bring that out of her a lot. Sure, there are times where she's tested and times that she's tired and times where we're tested and tired as parents, but on the whole, she is by far the happiest child that I have ever come across. And even with my friends, like I've never seen a kid that's happier than Frankie, and that's a testament probably more to Alex and myself, if I can rub myself on the back a little bit.
Please, let us rub it for you.
Thank you, please. But yeah, like I said, we work so hard to ensure that she truly is the happiest little kid, and we give her every possible experience that she deserves, and that smile every morning and that laugh at every night and that kiss goodnight is something that I'll truly cherish for the rest of my life.
You know, I've loved watching all the little milestones. Like there's the video, the first one I saw of you guys and your family was when it was on the baby monitor. It sounds very voyeuristic.
It's super voyeuristic, but it seems to work.
But it was you coming into the room and just how happy Frankie was knowing that you were there in bed next to her. And I was like, oh, this is beautiful.
Good morning, little miss. Yeah. Are you ready to go downstairs? What'd you dream about? Should we go downstairs?
She senses us, and obviously, like I said, she can't see, and I think that's the hard part about that is that the eyes are fine. It's the injury or the brain that's not processing the imagery. So all the hardware's fine. It's like the software's got a glitch. Is effectively probably the easiest way to describe the eyesight. But yeah, her touch and smell and sound is really warming, and she knows who's in the room. And it's funny, I said before about how Frankie doesn't like being put on show. Like Alex we'll be doing something, and Alex will obviously, hit a milestone or whatever and pull her camera out to film because that's what parents do. And Frankie will just stop.
Oh, really?
She'll just stop, or she'll just like.
My kids do that.
That's we're sweet. We're like a normal
Dad,
kid.
okay.
Yeah, that's same premise. But she like the fact that she can't see, but
can
she
she tell?
knows. I don't know.
Yeah.
She just knows.
She just knows,
The
consent.
camera will come out. Maybe it's because Alex goes quiet rather than talking.
Superhearing.
Who knows what it is? But she does those types of things where the camera will come out and she'll just stop. She'll just stop doing whatever it is that she was doing. And like I said, we're quite fist pump, but. The camera, because you want to record it and share it with the family.
And Frankie's like, I heard that fist bump.
I heard that. Put the camera down. Put the camera down. We have a baby monitor like most people do, and I think probably the whole way through. But for Frankie, because she can't see and she's non-verbal, you don't know when she's awake, asleep, whatever it may be. And only until probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, she was co-sleeping with Alex. And it's only now in the last 3 weeks that I've managed to be able to put Frankie to bed. But that camera was always there because she was having midday naps. And we have 2 white noise machines on in the house, which is now I can't sleep without white noise. But
Same.
you can't hear her. So that was obviously used just to kind of monitor her, which is the point of them. But it's able to have captured a couple of really beautiful moments between both myself and Frankie and Alex and Frankie. And to be able to share that and show that she has love and kind of show her in a different light is a really nice thing. And
You're also going to have those forever, right?
100%.
And that's, I mean, one of the perks of modern day parenting now. I'm not rummaging through my nan's house to find photos of me. Yeah. I can't get away from all the shit off my kids. It's literally, I just lit up then and there's a kid there. So like that's the thing. You're going to look back on that sort of stuff. And same with Frankie's going to look back on that sort of stuff and you guys will talk about it and it'll be a core memory, which is amazing.
100%. And I think, like I said before, we're just here to show others that there is hope, even when you don't think that there is hope.
Yeah.
Like we don't have any expectations on her, and there are families that we hear about that are in really dire straits, and our little piece of happiness shows them that there is potential and strength, and so that's why we do what we do.
And we spoke about it really briefly before we started recording, but what does falling pregnant again look like for you guys?
We were very fortunate to have fallen pregnant again in September of last year, and we naturally conceived triplets.
Whoa.
Which was probably a wild ride in itself.
Yeah.
We knew Alex was pregnant, but I'd had a trip booked with my cousin to go away. And then I was going to the obstetrician and found out we were having triplets, which was fucking wild. So I'm on the other side of the world on FaceTime finding out that we're having triplets, which was super surreal and naturally conceived, like not IVF, they were natural. So it was a identical pair, and let's call it a spare. I know that's probably the worst way to say it. But effectively, it was an egg that split and a singleton. And given Alex's history of birth and obviously cervical incompetence, the doctors highly suggested that we reduce from 3 children to 1, which was pretty heartbreaking in itself. Yeah, so we did that, which was at about 12 weeks, but effectively we had to choose to terminate the twins at about 12 or 13 weeks, which was super tough in itself. But
can't even imagine.
But given Alex's history, we didn't really have a choice. It was like you're either going to go to 12 or 14 weeks, Alex's cervix is going to give out, and then you're going to lose all of them, or you give one a good fighting chance. Alex has a shortened cervix because she had an operation when she was a little bit younger, and what happened was they had, and I'm not, she should be here explaining this, but effectively the operation reduced the length of her cervix, and that's kind of what's caused, in the first instance, the shortened cervix, but I think the way that Frankie was delivered has caused the more incompetence of the cervix going forward. I'm not a medical expert, and they haven't said that for sure, but that's just the way that we think it's transpired. And so we got to about 18 weeks and the obstetrician said we need to put a cervical cerclage in, which is effectively they put it asleep and they basically stitch the cervix closed in the hope that the pressure of the baby will and the stitch will keep the cervix closed. But that stitch failed at 20 weeks and we had to birth, Alex had to birth the third triplet at 20 weeks, which was, again, probably super tough. And I think if that was its standalone experience, we would have found that a lot harder than everything else that had transpired. I think that as its own incident is awfully tough and awfully difficult, and pregnancy loss in any shape or form, whether that's 1 week or at 40 weeks, is fucking awful. But given our life and our circumstance, it became just another part of the journey. But the hard part was Alex literally birthed a little child. Like she birthed a little baby, which wouldn't have been much bigger than like a Barbie doll. Like nails, fingernails, toe, like everything fully formed, which was super difficult. I mean, I had to cut the umbilical cord, right? Like literally in the room, birthed, which was tough. And the baby's due dates was today, which is kind of, I don't know whether it's like good, bad, indifferent, but it's just kind of funny that we've ended up here today talking about this when this is the day that we were meant to be bringing three more kids into the world.
And we appreciate so much you coming in.
No,
And
thank
I
you.
mean, a tough day. And
Well, I'm trying to like
I feel like this is like a fictional story, right? Like it doesn't even feel like, looking back at it now, it doesn't feel real.
yeah.
I know it's
Yeah.
some of my lived
Oh,
experience.
The level of grief that you guys as a couple have had to go through. And so do you think that you and Alex will still push ahead with trying to fall pregnant again?
So we're doing a couple of things at the moment. We were in Melbourne last week to get a thing called a abdominal cerclage, which what that is it's a keyhole procedure where they put in a stitch kind of at the top of the cervix rather than at the bottom, so not through the vagina, which is what happened the first time. So it's effectively at the top of the uterus, or the bottom of the uterus, or the top of the cervix, and so that seems to be like it has a very, very, very high success rate, and that's something that a woman can, if they wish, keep in for life. So you can fall pregnant with it. You can have it till the day you die. If you obviously want it out, you do what you need to do. I'm not the medical expert, but effectively it's just in there. It's like an insurance policy. So when you do fall pregnant, there is something that's there that should hopefully catch the baby. And from all accounts, it's quite successful in terms of being able to hold women who have an incompetent cervix. So we're doing that, and we're also doing embryo retrieval. Like we said, we don't have an issue falling pregnant. It's obviously Alex is getting a little bit older, and the body clock is ticking for her, and so we're just doing some embryos to be able to either one, if we fall pregnant again naturally and the cerclage holds, if we choose to have another child, at least there's eggs that are ready to go, or embryos that are ready to go. Or if we're unfortunate, then we'll probably look to go down the surrogacy path, which is a whole nother fucking gamut to itself. And I'm really hoping that the cerclage is what holds, and it's seeming like from all accounts it's the right trajectory or the right path that we're going down. So yeah, that's probably our next step, and hopefully sometime in the near future we are able to bring another baby home in probably better circumstances than the last 4 or 5 years that we've had. So
Like it's really easy for me to think, oh, we're all on the same path and everyone's parenting journey is pretty much similar, and yours is wildly different. And I'm like, just the strength that you guys have had to get to where you are now, knowing what you've gone through, it's fucking amazing.
thank you. But I think anybody, I would think, or the majority of people, I think would do what we've had to do. You don't have an alternative. Like, you're a parent. You choose. If you willingly become a parent, it's like anything. You've got to see it through. I think that's
you got to fight for it.
you've got 100%, right? Like, and I maybe I can harp on this. Like, you're obviously your journey to sobriety, right? Like you've got to fight for the things that you want, and obviously your children are far more important than the alcohol for you. And I think that's a super strong point, because I'm sure what you're going through is fucking not easy either, and that's your journey, right? Like I'm saying, like I've got my child is my difficult part. Obviously, you've got your sobriety piece, which mate, hats off to you for
Thanks so much
for
man.
doing what you're doing.
And it's a testament to you guys with how much you're putting in and how much you're fighting, and like you're enjoying the moments that you guys have on your journey where you can, and like you said, like that she's exceeding these milestones that doctors have said that she's exceeding, and it just must fill your heart too to hear that.
It does. It certainly gives us hope. It gives us hope for the future. But I think my personality won't allow me to sit still, and my personality won't allow her to be locked away, which kind of seems to happen to some people in our space, which we hear some pretty horrible stories. But yeah, I can't sit still for a minute, and I'm surprised that I'm still sitting here without bouncing around the walls. But yeah, like I want to see the world and I want to experience the world, and I have the ability, and we have the ability to give Frankie that, and we're going to do that for as fucking long as we can, because it's not, like I said, she just deserves as much as everybody else.
For sure.
And to be honest, maybe even more because she's drawn a fucking short straw. You know, like her life's not as fair as everybody else's, and that poor little thing, she works her heart out to ensure that she maximizes what she can get out of life. And as parents, we push her. But yeah, our job is to fill her life with joy and happiness as best that we possibly can, and make sure that she's surrounded by love, because at the end of the day, like I said, we're all going to go to the same place. So let's just fucking enjoy the ride while we're here.
Yeah, I thought you nailed it, Ash, talking about celebrating the wins, because if I'm being completely honest, knowing what diagnosis you've had with Frankie, part of me wants to really grieve for you. And then there is that element, but at the same time, watching you guys celebrate those wins is so important for me to understand your situation more.
Of course. And I think we will always grieve, but we will grieve to an extent the life that you envisioned rather than what other people have, I think is what it is. Like you said, when one of the earlier questions was around growing up, when did you know you wanted to be a parent? I think, like I said, you always wanted to be a parent. You always wanted to be standing on the sideline, cheering your kid on and yelling and letting at them for doing something wrong and having those moments. So that grief will be constant. And I think as time goes on and the more we kind of realize where Frankie's at and her limitations and whatever else comes, we know that there's more grief ahead, which is probably the harder bit. It's like, when's the fucking next problem going to happen? You know, like when is she going to relapse and have another seizure? Like we don't know her lifespan. Like is she going to outlive us or are we going to outlive her? Like we don't know those types of things. And so like no one can have a future plan because you can walk out of here and get hit by a bus. And it's probably a little bit morbid and there's a bit of morbidity in what we're talking about. But you can't future plan, all right, my kid's going to go to school. There's no like traditional timeline of what you expected as a parent. Like I'm going to grow up, I'm going to have a kid, they're going to go to school at 5 and so on and so forth. And that traditional lineal line that most families go through with trial and tribulation, we don't have a lineal line. We don't fucking know what tomorrow's going to bring us. And so we try to plan as best we can. But yeah, like I said, we're just not on a linear line like everybody, well, not on a lineal line, but you know, most people have a traditional line that they've got. Trajectory, that's probably a better word. So we don't have that. And so, yeah, we're trying to kind of come to terms with that, which is probably the grief bit that still sits behind at all times. Yeah, it's not a comparison of others. It's why didn't we get what we thought we were going to get? Right. And how do we fulfill that? But we just want to show that Frankie is so loved, that there is so much love in this world, that people are really happy to be involved in her life. People behind us are coming through and seeing that there is hope and opportunity for them and their children. And the questions, like we have all this assistive technology that we didn't know about before we started deep diving. And now there are parents asking us, hey, where did you get that? Where did you get this? And so it's kind of become an information. We would like to think it's a community. Correct, it's a community, and we'd like to think that what we're doing is we're helping some other parents who are behind us on the journey come through and really know that there is hope and that they can love their child and things will be okay. And we really want to spread joy, love, and happiness and normalize what's happening with Frankie.
Yeah, from all the shit on the internet, like guys putting towels on their head and pretending to be their wives, there are small pockets that
are very inspiring, and also like it builds this community that it's funny when you go onto videos like yours and other accounts that pop up and you go into the comments and you're like, okay, what am I going to expect here? And it's a lot of people getting little tips from each other. It's amazing. And then also being like, this is the right side of social media.
I'm on the right side. I want to stay here. Anyway, let me just put this towel on my head.
At the moment, you're not working. Alex, your wife's not working.
Yeah.
I'm wearing some Frankie merch. You're wearing the Frankie hat.
Yeah, I've got one.
With the money raised from the selling of the merch, where does that go?
So every year, or not every year, probably every other year, we've done a drop. So we've done a set of hats. We've done these jumpers now with the help of a friend of ours, and we're doing another one now. And what we did the first time, we just kind of donate to somebody who has some sort of relationship to Frankie. So the first year we did the hats, we donated all the proceeds to Epilepsy Action Australia. They were really good to us when everything kind of happened with the seizures, and they're really exceptional to us as a family and really took care and brought us in. So we donated the money to that. And then last year when we did the jumpers, we did a donation to a company called Whatability. They're basically like community outreach program. A friend of ours, Steve Dreslett's his business.
The cafe that we go to near my place that we also met Vic, they have a lunch like once a week with the Whatability guys in there. So I see them all the time. They're doing really good stuff. So
they've got
Whatability, good job.
They've got they've got a foundation outside of the actual operational business, which is to kind of like community outreach. And so last time we donated to that, and then we're going to probably do another one this year. And I think we don't know. We hadn't really even talked about between Alex and I where we're going to donate the money. But like I said, any money that we make goes straight to whatever that charity.
This is a little presumptuous, but if you need any models,
all right, there'll be a few samples sent through. Thank you.
let us
You mean
know.
you or me?
We're talking about both of us.
We're talking about Vic.
Vic too, all three. That's very kind.
Any way that we can support, dude, we would love to help
thank you.
out. We
Thank
need
you.
to like do the calendar. Bring back the calendars.
Bring back the calendars. Would you be happy to be in Budgie Smugglers?
Why not? I might need a sock, but yeah.
Try, you can borrow
We'll,
mine.
Done, thank you.
We'll also put any links in the show notes as well for where
Thank you.
people can donate to help out because I think it's such a great cause.
Thank you. Like I said, we're not here to make money from Frankie. That's not our job. Our job is to make sure that others can get looked after that are on the same journey. And it's certainly been a very challenging 4.5 years, and I think our path is probably only at the beginning. I don't think it's going to get easier. I certainly think it's going to get a fuckload harder as she gets bigger and larger and grows into a full adult human. And if she doesn't get mobile, which is she's proved me wrong before, if she doesn't get mobile enough, then I think we're in for a really tough life from that perspective. But like I said, we will do everything we can to ensure that she lives the fullest, happiest and healthiest life, and that she's known that she's been loved by everybody, and that we've tried to normalize her situation so that we don't have those types of people, the starers and the young kids going, "What's that, mummy?" Like, and that's no slight on children because children are inquisitive and they go, but it's the parents that can educate the kids on what that looks like and to normalize something that is a little unnormal.
For sure.
I think Frankie is so incredibly lucky to have such amazing parents like yourself and Alex.
Thank you.
And dude, it really is so inspiring. I don't know if you know what you do for other parents just by telling your story, but it's incredible. And the fact that it's your first podcast as well, I just want to say thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming in and telling us your story. And we know that our community and whoever listens to us, they're going to love this. And
The Dodos will rally behind you.
You're doing nothing but good things, so keep it up. And we'll be watching. We can't wait to see all the updates on Instagram and everything. And what's the hand? Do you have the handle off by heart?
I actually don't know what it is because I don't have it. It's
Jackson,
it's all,
come on!
It's all. We'll put it in the
That's what I mean. Matt's like, do you have it, Ash? I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
I think it's Alex Wray _, but it's WRAY.
We'll pop it in the show notes anyway. But again, thank you so much.
Thank you guys.